Hey y'all, I figured I would hit you guys with a little bit of an update since it's been a hot minute since I've done a video. I figured why not do one now. It is the end of a very long drill weekend. Anybody in the military or in the Guard knows that drill weekends are just crazy. They're chaotic. I'm in medical. I'm an aerospace medical technician. So basically it's just a fancy way of saying like military medic, right? And what we can do as aerospace medical technicians in the military, we work in clinic settings. The majority of the time it really depends on your base, their mission set, and all that jazz, right? But at our base in Maryland, we're mainly clinical. Like, we don't have an MTF, right? A military treatment facility. So if you are at like an active duty base or have a larger base that you function out of, you would mainly work in maybe the emergency department or the ICU, depending on like what your focus is. But as foreigners, we have a lot of different roles and responsibilities that we can cover depending on what unit you're assigned or what job you're assigned, right? So within our base, I work as the NCOIC, which is the non-commissioned officer in charge of our immunizations clinic. I'm also the TCCC program manager. So if you are unaware what TCCC is, it's Tactical Combat Casualty Care. Basically, it is our main go-to training for all military medicine. It works with joint trauma systems, civilian sector wise, so that we can facilitate improving and saving more lives downrange. Ultimately, that's what it's all about, right? So, and being in the medical field, we're always looking for process improvement. Like, how do we get better? How do we serve our people better? And how can we accomplish the mission more efficiently? So basically, we had a 3-day drill weekend. We had Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's always crazy chaotic, right? And I'm also the personal PTL, right? So I'm in charge of our physical fitness standards and regulations within our med group as well. So all that being said, I have learned the importance of boundaries, right? Recently, I've just noticed that I've been kind of like going down the slopes in reference to like mental stability and emotional stability. I was like, weird. Why can't you handle this, Kim? Because I'm not a superhuman. Like, everyone has different demands, and being a military member, we have 2 jobs, right? We have our civilian job, that is our full-time job, and then we also have our military job, that is our part-time service, part-time job, right? Well, sometimes the military part-time job ends up being more full-time than you think, and it demands a lot from you. But it also, like, what is within your span of control, right? Like, are you taking on more than you can, are you biting off more than you can chew, right? Like, that saying is so important. But it's also like, what's on your plate? Can you handle everything that's on your plate? Are you noticing that you're like irritated, just not acting your normal character, right? Are these like some yellow flags that you're throwing, that you're choosing to like ignore and keep pushing past those yellow flags? For me, I had my own mental health crisis last year. Like, I went through some shit, right? But I'm grateful for that, because now I know the importance of recognizing the yellow flags, recognizing like when I've done too much or I'm doing too much, and when I need to start delegating and saying like, hey, I need to take stuff off my plate because this yellow flag is going to turn into a red flag real soon if I don't do something about it, right? So all this to say, like, and I also have a 3rd job of being an online fitness trainer and working with hybrid athletes, and it's awesome. I love that. But this is an important conversation to have, right? Because being in the military part-time, there's a lot of demands on you for doing more than just one thing. I will say this drill was super important for me, not because of it was important for me because I've realized the importance of having conversations that matter in reference to saying like, I can't do this. I can't do all of these things to the best of my ability because I'm being spread too thin. Let me start delegating and start taking stuff off my plate. Like, what are my top 3 priorities, right? What are the things I need to focus on to get the mission done and accomplished, while also not losing my own sanity in that process, right? So this drill was great. I mean, I met with some of my leadership and I was able to take some stuff off my plate. So I'm more of like a backup for our NCYC immunizations clinic, which is great. I mean, I'm still kind of functioning as a main NCO right now, while we have one of our members deployed downrange because she was like our main go-to. So I've kind of backfilled her, but we have a great officer in charge who is helping run the clinic right now while I've got all these other things going on. And I'm really grateful for him and his support during this, because, you know, this drill weekend was like very emotional for me because of all the things I've got going on. People were like, yo, you've been in one meeting to another and you've been running here and running there and running this and doing that. I'm like, yeah, I haven't even like been able to check my email. It's been insane, right? And it's great to be important, but it's also really important to have the conversation around like, hey, are you good? Like, I mean, I literally had a conversation today with, you know, the OIC that was that I work with very closely within immunizations, and he was like, "Web, like you've been like, there's so many things that I'm just concerned about right now, you know." And he pulled me off to the side, and he genuinely asked me. He was like, "Are you good?" You know, and I was like, you know what? I have a very flexible definition of good. I literally am holding on by a thread sometimes, but recently I've just realized the importance of like slowing down and just being like, you know what? I'm not okay right now. I have been struggling to keep my head afloat for these past couple of weeks, you know, like just doing so much. And I love what I do, you know. I love my job in the fire department. I love my job in the military. I love being able to help people with, you know, their physical fitness and being a personal trainer, to advocate for healthy lifestyle changes and not like drastic stuff, you know, stuff that's maintainable. So I have all these roles and responsibilities, but it's filling my cup in so many ways. But, you know, him asking me this question of like, are you good? I was like, no, I'm not. You know, I'm in therapy once a week, so I'm still actively pursuing balance and a healthy lifestyle, right? Which is, it takes time. It takes time to, you know, own your fitness, healing journey, whatever you want to call it, because healing is multidimensional, you know, health, fitness, wellness, all these things. It's more than just one component, right? It's balance though. Like when things start to go off kilter and you're starting to lose that balance of things, that's when it's like you start to throw these yellow flags, right? And this is what he was picking up on. He was like, you haven't been in immunizations literally all day on Friday, and you're supposed to be the NCYC, like, of immunizations. Like, you're the sergeant in charge of IMS, and you're not even in the clinic, yet alone to do inventory or to do these checks or to do these things. He was like, I saw you maybe in passing for 30 seconds on Friday, yet alone on Saturday. Luckily you were in the clinic, but we needed to get done this inventory and you had 80 other things to do that was taking precedence. So he was like, I was really irritated with you, I'm not gonna lie, you know. And I was really grateful that he communicated that to me, because I don't want that to be the case, you know. And this was a prime example of like, you can literally only do so much as one human being. And if you don't communicate to the people in your life about what you're experiencing or what's going on, or what your experience is. They don't know. And that's the thing. Like, he didn't know until he was asking me, and there's other things I'm dealing with, but outside of that, I think the biggest thing that I've learned, especially from this drill, is the importance of communicating to people like, hey, look, I need to start delegating other tasks that I'm tasked with to other people, take some stuff off my plate so I can like get myself back in a green zone, so that I'm not so stressed and I'm not so overwhelmed and emotional, so that I can prioritize sleep again, so that I can focus on filling my own cup again, because it's not fair to the people in my life to be impacted like this, and a lot of it has to do with me having stronger boundaries of telling people, I can't do this. I can't do all these things. I want to, yeah. I'm only one human being, though. I can only do so much. I'm already spread too thin, So I was really proud of myself having that conversation with my leadership and chain of command of being like, hey, I literally can't. I'm overwhelmed. I'm not in a great place right now. Am I in a bad place? No. I have a really deep self-awareness of when I'm not in a good spot, I don't feel like I'm in a bad place. I just feel like I'm heading in the wrong direction, like I need to recalibrate my direction by filling my cup and making myself a priority again, instead of everyone else and everything else right now. Because when I've got 80 different pulls in different directions, how can I possibly focus on my own mental health or my own healing, So another thing that was really, really paramount for me, we had this old line training, and it was more or less a discussion, not necessarily training, and it really brought to light a lot of things, right? So within the state of Maryland, we've had a lot of suicides. There's been a lot of change that has occurred within the state of Maryland, specifically within our base. We've had a lot of people lose their jobs because we no longer have our fighting mission. We lost our A10s. So we've got a lot of maintainers that lost their jobs. We got a lot of people that, had a plan and no longer have a plan. They no longer have a job. They no longer have a set income, right? And that was their livelihood. They loved working on jets. That's what they were used to doing. It's like a whole fraternity, being a part of maintenance, and it's a family being in the military in general. So it's not just our maintainers, but it's our pilots, it's our ops group, it's like everyone that's associated with our jets, and our jets and our guys and our girls that were flying them, they were awesome. I miss our pilots a lot, and running into one of our pilots this weekend just made me realize how much, like, I was like, oh my God, I miss our jets, and then walking into the ops group, and literally all the pictures of our pilots that were in the ops group are gone. And I just took a picture of it and I wanted to cry, because we had such a huge support and love of our jets and our pilots. It just sucks to see, so we've had a lot of suicides over these past couple of months. I think we've had 4 or 5 people kill themselves within the state of Maryland, both Army and Air Guard wise. And these are major issues, right? Like, these are people who have lost that battle, right? And we were talking today as a med group about how there's always 20% that's not preventable, right? There's 20% of suicides that are not preventable, but 80%, like, that's a lot that is preventable, right? So the tag and the general basically of the state of Maryland wanted to create this initiative where we have these conversations that matter, open the forum, open up questions and concerns, and start to have a conversation around, like, what are the issues within our groups, within our units? What do you see as NCOs? What is going on, And I mean, I was very honest and I put everything out there. It was a very vulnerable moment for me, but I think it's in those moments that you have an opportunity to create change, to allow people to see you for who you are, and they can either utilize it against you, or they could literally see you for who you are and love you even harder. And I was just been really grateful to have the support that I have since I opened up, since I've been talking to more people about my own struggles with mental health and how I've overcome them. But it just goes to show, like, this drill, right, was that eye-opening experience for me, because people are seeing my yellow flags, because I'm so great at just like acting like I'm good. That's just, who I am to my core, is like, let me just keep going and keep taking care of people, and let me go, 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 go. And then suddenly I'm crashing and burning, right? So I don't want what happened to me last year to happen to me this year. And I will say, I was in a completely different, headspace and mentality and perspective last year than I am this year. I think last year I had a certain level of self-awareness, but I have a deeper self-awareness now. I have a deeper appreciation for the struggle that I went through last year. And I have a whole nother level of emotional intelligence that I know what to look for in myself. I'm not shut down. I'm not pulling myself away from the things I love. I'm not antisocial. All of these things I still do that I love and that bring me joy, and I prioritize them, right? So even though I might be overwhelmed and busy and pulled in all these different directions, I'm still filling my cup in some way, shape, or form, right? So once I stop doing those things, that's when it's a problem. And like, my intention behind them isn't to fix anything. It's just to be more present and to do things that I enjoy, so it's different. I just really, I'm super grateful I have people in my life that see these things and they bring it to me with concern, instead of being like, yo, what the hell, they're not coming at me aggressively. They're literally coming at me in a place of concern, empathy, and compassion. So I'm really grateful for those people in my life, because a lot of people don't have that, so that's what we need to create culture-wise, change-wise within the military, is facilitation of these harder conversations, right? Like, literally having those hard conversations is everything. If you are unwilling to have a hard conversation and embrace an uncomfortable conversation, and you're running away from somebody who's trying to tell you something that is very difficult for them, I just want you to realize that if you walk away from somebody in the midst of a struggle, mental health crisis, whatever that is, I want you to realize that you could be potentially walking away from somebody who might not be here tomorrow. And that's something that you have to live with as a human being. So these are things that, like, we need to talk about. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying it's a possibility. So if you're not willing to have that conversation with somebody, you're not willing to be uncomfortable, then why are you here? We need to embrace those uncomfortable conversations, because that's what's going to save someone's life. So I'm just really grateful that I've been given the opportunity to, work on my own self so that I can help other people in the process too. And let others know, like, listen, I am a human being. I'm not perfect. I still struggle. This is a prime example of it. I'm very emotional this weekend because I've been pulled in so many different directions, but I'm only one human being. I can only do so much, and I'm just proud of myself to sit there and say, like, I need to take stuff off my plate. And now I feel better because I've communicated that effectively, right? So now it's like, okay, how can I fill my cup? Like, what are things that I know I need to do for me to help facilitate my own healing? Like, is it a bath? Is it running? Is it walking? Is it lifting? What does that look like for me? And that looks different every week. Everyone's, stress relievers and things like that are different. But another thing, perspective and mindset is everything. I have a different perspective of stress. Stress is not what is killing us as humans and Americans and all that stuff. It's your perspective of what stress is, right? If you keep telling yourself, oh my God, I'm so stressed. Oh my God, stress. Your perspective of stress and how you perceive stress is everything. That is like anything in life, right? Are you the kind of person that crumbles under pressure, or are you the kind of person that's like, hey, this is happening. What's in my span of control? What do I have control over? It's my attitude. It's how I choose to show up for myself and others. It is my perspective. There's always a silver lining in anything. I'm not sitting here toxically positive because I've been called that before. trigger warning. It is literally to tell you that if you choose to look at the bad, it will only keep happening in your life because that is your perspective. You think that this bad thing is happening because of X, Y, and Z, and all bad things always happen to me. Well, then your brain is going to be automatically hyperfixated and focused on all the negative in your life, right? So if you focus only on that, that's all that is going to manipulate in your life. Now, if you choose to focus on the good, if you choose to focus on, oh, this is what went well today. Oh, this is what I'm grateful for today. Oh, yes, I'm stressed out, but guess what? Those stressors are the things I prayed for 5 years ago. So the stress in my life are the things that I absolutely love. I might be stressed out about my jobs, but guess what? They bring me joy. They bring me fulfillment. They know, like, I know I get to show up on somebody's worst day and change the trajectory of their life potentially. That's amazing. I love that. I am somebody who gets an opportunity to show up on somebody's absolute worst day. And I have the opportunity to wear this uniform and wear it with pride. Yes, there's a lot of stress that comes with that, but that stress I prayed for. That stress is helping facilitate growth in me that I have no idea about. Like, it facilitates growth, development, change, right? Change is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. But if you don't embrace the discomfort, then, like, what are you here for? You know, like, David Goggins is one crazy motherfucker. I will say that. But his mindset is unbreakable, you know, and that's something that I've really chose to really focus on is, like, your mindset is literally everything. Like, how you do anything is everything, but your mindset around it will dictate your direction and how fast you go and your ability to handle challenges and obstacles and work well with others, your narratives around it all, you know, like, those are all things that you can change. Your perspective is everything. So I want to challenge everyone to just really look at stress in a different light, because that is what is, like, the most beautiful thing. Because 100% the things I am stressed out over are the things I have prayed for. So yes, they stress me out, but yes, I'm grateful for them too. You know, like, if you didn't have that job that paid your bills, if you didn't have those things that caused you, like, I love my puppy, but man, my puppy is stressful as shit, but at the end of the day, I love her, you know, like, those are things that, like, fill my cup at the end of the day too. So, just some thoughts, some generalized reflections at the end of the day, because it was a long day for me. I'm coming back in and teaching TCCC this week at base. So, both excited and, you know, because, like, ultimately this is the first time I'm teaching by myself, because we've got our other TCCC instructor downrange. So, it's a lot for one person, but I'm super excited because I have a passion for teaching this stuff. So, yeah, that's been my life story, for these past couple of days. It's been a little much, but I'm just really excited to see where we go from the conversations that we've been having about mental health. I'm excited to see where our medics can grow from this training this upcoming week. I'm excited to see where our medical group goes this year and other things coming down the pipeline, so we could possibly go over to Japan for some advanced training for next year. That'd be awesome. So just very, very exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. And all this to say, like, if it wasn't for my mindset around the things I have on my plate right now, I probably wouldn't be able to handle the stress that I have, right? So I just want you guys to realize that no matter what it is you're going through, you're not alone. There's always somebody there for you. And if you don't have anybody, I'm here. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Hope you guys have, you take some time to fill your cup in some way, shape, or form. And you know that you're loved, you know? So I will talk to you guys later, and have a great day.